Just finished a writing workshop and I learned these 3 amazing tips that I think young writers would really appreciate, so I wanted to share them with you. 3 tips are: use dialogue that keeps the reader in the present, do your characters have a beating heart, and 3, are your secondary characters taking over? So what does it mean to use dialogue that keeps the reader present? One thing that I like to do in my stories is to use words like thinking, daydreaming, I recall this, I'm reminded of this, I picture this. That's a crutch that I use to basically bridge ideas or to link ideas. And there was a great example that one of the students in my class showed me. So I will actually read something that I wrote, and then I will read how it was edited. I don't think that this needs any explanation. I'm just going to read it to you how it is. Looking at the Havington sandwich and thinking back on last night, my first night here, I realized being homeless in a moneyed neighborhood is an experiment in self-torture, slow and painful, constantly asking, when will I be forcibly removed? Hunger is not the scariest part of homelessness. Being taken away from the place where a person has committed himself to with a shopping cart or cardboard is. Will my heavy-handed father find me before I can move out? Asking myself that question while watching the blonde teenager on the street, my stomach growls. This was the change that one of the students in the workshop suggested. Being homeless in a moneyed neighborhood like this is an experiment in self-torture, slow and painful, constantly asking, when will I be forcibly removed? Hunger is not the scariest part of homelessness. Being taken away from the place a person has committed to is. Shopping cart, cardboard, this room. Will my heavy-handed father find me before I can move out? I am watching the blonde teenager on the street. My stomach growls. And I actually think that it flows better. It took out a lot of words, and it's very immediate, and there's an urgency to it. I'm just going to use a very trite example of the hooker with the heart of gold. That's been used and overused in literature, and if you are going to have a hooker with a heart of gold, how does your hooker differ from someone else's hooker? Things to consider. What is her background? Why is she a hooker? What makes her have a heart of gold? Be very specific in the way that you describe her, and don't subscribe her in a way that is overly done. The third suggestion for improving your writing is, are your secondary characters taking over? When I first started working on the book that I'm writing, I had probably 6 characters throughout the book that each had equal time in the book, and it was difficult for the people in the workshop to understand why I was writing my main character in first person and the secondary characters in third person, and why the secondary characters were getting so much time on the page. And so it can be difficult for readers to really understand the reason why you are devoting a significant amount of page time to secondary characters. Hope that those tips will help you to improve your writing and to give your writing urgency and the energy that it deserves. This is Victor Yates, and I hope that you have an amazing writing experience today.